So it looks like Senator Kennedy just dropped the hammer, and he didn't mince his words even a little bit. And he says Minnesota politicians like Ilhan Omar, who blocked investigations, enabled Somali-linked fraud networks, and helped launch the biggest fraud theft in Western history, should be in jail, not just the scammers. And when you see what else is happening across Minnesota, yeah, it's way worse than you think.
This one makes you want to throw up in a potted plant. This one's centered around autistic children. Once again, in this third program, a group of providers, supposedly medical providers, got together and they went to the welfare authorities in Minnesota and said, we need money to help autistic children. You say, well, that's a wonderful thing to do. And then these providers, once the welfare department at the state government in Minnesota gave them the okay, they went out and started recruiting autistic children. You say, well, okay, we have to get the word out somehow. But they couldn't find very many autistic children. So they started going to parents in the Somali community and saying, can we call your child autistic? Can we certify that your child is autistic? If you'll let us do that, we'll pay you a bribe. Anywhere from $400 to $1,500 a child. Now, once again, the program, it didn't start big. These were sophisticated crooks. And its leader was a woman by the name of Asha Farban Hassan. She was also in, by the way, on the feeding of the children scam as well. And as best we can tell, they approached parents only in the Somali community. But once again, they couldn't find enough autistic children, so they bribed the many parents in the community, gave them money to certify that their children were autistic. In the first year, they were clever. They only asked for $3 million. The second year, in 2019, they asked for $54 million. Then in 2020, they went up to $77 million. And then in 2021, they really got greedy. They went to $183 million. And in 22, $280 million. And in 2023, $400 million. All total, in these three fraud schemes, these crooks stole $1 billion of taxpayer money. Here's I started to say worst part, but let me amend it. Equally bad part. You say, well, hello, how could this happen? Why didn't the people in the Department of Social Services and the Welfare Department in state government, when they saw these claims arising, why didn't they say something? Didn't they go out and check these businesses that were supposedly sites to feed homeless children? Didn't they go talk to some of the children and their parents to see if some of the children really were autistic? Didn't the state authorities go out and say, can you show us one of the homes that you're providing to the homeless people? After all, we're spending $1 billion. They didn't. Because the politicians wouldn't let them.
Now, Kennedy, my guy, he didn't stutter, not even a little bit. You know, he said this wasn't just fraud. It was politically protected fraud. State officials saw claims explode from 3 million to 400 million. That was crazy. That number just was like, whoa. Instead of, stopping it, the politicians blocked site checks. That's why he's saying what nobody else will. If you let $1 billion get stolen from autistic children, man, you belong in handcuffs too. But here's where it goes from corruption to something else that seems a little more engineered.
It turns out that a core group of Somali Americans or refugees, whatever they were at that point in time, figured out how to game the system, and they figured out that fraud paid, corruption paid, crime paid, because they weren't held accountable. And so they kept doing it until ultimately the house of cards fell down.
No, you couldn't be more right, Laura. And frankly, Ilhan Omar found the blueprint pretty early. She's clearly been in this for personal gain. She's made tens of millions of dollars since she's entered Congress. And what do you know? We find that her friends are getting rich in the process too. But like I said, this is intentional. It's by design. Ilhan Omar was the individual in Congress who introduced this legislation that ultimately led to Feeding Our Future being able to defraud $250 million. And you gotta laugh because just the other day, she's complaining, well, it's because we don't have guardrails in place, and that's why these third parties were able to go steal from taxpayers. Well, Ilhan, you were in charge of setting up the guardrails.
Laura, just said the quiet part out loud. My homie, as a guest, did too. Ilhan Omar created the opening with her Mills Act. Fast track, no oversight, no verification, and the fraud obviously has skyrocketed the moment those accountability rules were removed. Then you find out her donors, allies and staffers as well, even venues she promoted are now tied to federal indictments. This isn't coincidence. This is system. This is a system, built on the belief that taxpayers will just shut up and stay quiet. But Americans, we're obviously done staying quiet, which is why I want you to watch this.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but America is not Make-A-Wish. I do not care that you want a better life. That is not what this country exists for. Not for you to sit there and see how much you could scam out of other Americans. Just because you want to be here does not mean that you are entitled to be here. Let's get that clear. The way that people walk around acting like they should just get a free pass into this country because life is hard back in their home country, that's not our problem. Why does it seem that everybody else's problems all over the world has to suddenly become the problems of Americans? I don't care. Figure your shit out. If you guys are so smart, if you're such a great contribution to societies all over the world, then surely you would be able to fix your own society rather than bailing out just to come here and live off of our taxpayer dollars. The immigrants of previous generations would be absolutely mortified to see these people getting off the boats, getting off the planes, walking around with their handouts, trying to see what they could take from who. They don't care, and they're not even appreciative of it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the videos of the illegal immigrants who were being put up in 5-star hotels off of taxpayer dollars, of course, in New York City, where they were getting 3 free meals a day, complaining about it, saying that it wasn't up to their standards, that they didn't really like the food. Are you kidding me? The way that they would be deported like this. You are entitled to nothing here. You should be grateful that you were even allowed to come in here and stay here, especially if you do not belong. You should be kissing the ground that you walk on, but of course they don't, because they have no loyalty to this country, and that's why they walk around waving everybody else's flag but ours and spitting on this.
Now, this right here is the frustration Kennedy is tapping into. Americans, we are tired of being told that, that we're villains while the same politicians who call us racist are presiding over billion-dollar fraud pipelines. It's sickening. People are saying what our leaders will not. America is not a wish-granting machine. It's not a wishing well for people to refuse to build their own countries, especially when they come here and bleed ours dry. That's all we're saying. And it's not just Americans saying it. You have immigrants who did assimilate. They are furious too.
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities? Look, I'm Asian, I'm Vietnamese, okay? When we have our own communities too, and our communities thriving. We have businesses. We've been here only, less than 50 years after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States. If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we taken. And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language. Okay? Since when the fuck this stupid ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirate Somalian
He's speaking our language.
in Minnesota have to speak their language and apologizing for those motherfucking crook ass pirates? Since when we have to do that? This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jewish dude. What a shame, you know? What a shame. What the fuck's wrong with him?
My guy's had enough. He's done. A Vietnamese refugee who came here with nothing says he didn't ask for translators or special treatment. He just worked. He assimilated. You know, his community built success, and now he watches Minneapolis bend over backwards for Somali immigrants. The same group at the center of the 1 billion welfare network. And then let's not forget that 8 billion that we talked about. While leaders are, calling any criticism racism. This isn't racism. This is accountability, which is why you should get that shirt right below this video that says, accountability and then racism, not the same thing. Anywho, and clearly, accountability, that word terrifies Minnesota politicians.
This is all I know. I was only 3 years old when I came, and this is my home, and this has got to stop.
I'm not scared. So I'm citizen. I'm happy. I'm United States. I brought up America. I'm happy. So why you asking me? Some guys asking me, give me basmati, give me a green card. Why? Why you asking me?
Almost every Somali person living here is a citizen.
There's more than 100,000 Somalis in Minnesota. Roughly 84,000 reside in the metro. The journey from Somalia started decades ago.
My family immigrated here to Minneapolis, to Minnesota in 1993. As my father says, we came to a cold place, but we found people with warm hearts.
My parents wanted to provide us a good opportunity for us to chase after that American dream, right?
Many fleeing from civil war, crossing continents for a chance to build something, a chance for their children. For Sumaya Mahmoud, her parents' struggle paved the way for her to shine. Despite the rhetoric, she's grateful to be Somali and American.
One thing they taught me was resilience and not letting, other people's perception of you limit what you can do for yourself. I was born in Kenya, and then I grew up here, started kindergarten, K through 12, all the way up to college here in Minnesota. So
Minnesota, wow, look at me. Minnesota media is out here running puff pieces about a community currently under federal indictment for the largest welfare theft in state history, and acting like everyone complaining about that is somehow a problem. People are watching convicted fraudsters be framed as proud Americans, right? Building the future. Yeah, right. But Kennedy, he told y'all the truth. The future they're building is with your money. And it disappears the moment someone tries to audit it. Now, if you thought that was bold, this last clip is just outright chilling.
My biggest fear in life is that this man may never witness our full takeover. Yes, he may never witness that. He already witnessed our partial takeover, our little success in America. And he is the reason, actually, I know that the community in America is thriving. He is how I know. It's like, he's how we measure our progress. If he doesn't tweet, somebody messed up. I know it. Somebody fucked up the plan. If he tweet, I know. We're doing the right things. Yes. That's how I know. So, he's old and sick, I know. He may not witness our full takeover, but I promise you that his sons will witness. Just like him, we came to exist in this country. See? The land of free men, the land of opportunities. And we're here. Yes. And we're not leaving, actually. We're not going back. What do you mean go back? You should go back first. You see, if you come fast, you go fast. See? Just like you. Tell me how you own this land. Explain to the world how this land became your land. Tell the world.
What? A man openly bragging about a partial takeover of America, mocking Trump and promising a full takeover for the next generation. And while the state he lives in just had a 1 billion siphon, they just had a siphon through Somali-run nonprofits. And Kennedy is the only politician saying the obvious. If you helped enable this, if you blocked oversight to any capacity, you should be in jail right next to the scammers. Minnesota isn't just a scandal right now. It's more of a warning to America or any corrupt Americans in these, political positions out here, trying to scam the system. A warning about what happens when politicians care about votes more, optics more, and narratives more than protecting American taxpayers. Now, this story isn't over. We're going to follow every single update as it unfolds. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, instead of just asking you to say a word, I want to start some controversy. This is something I like to start like every 6 months. I may ask y'all this question. When you get your chicken, do you like the wings or the flats? Put flats or drums in the comments, depending on which one, and find somebody to argue with about why, the flats are better. Yes, that's my bias. Y'all be safe. Come check on a friend today. You quite literally be saving their life. Peace.